Good morning. Welcome to Just for Today, a time of eclectic reading, sharing of perspectives, meditation, and prayer. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the newly joined Centers for Spiritual Living Communities of Columbia and Greater Baltimore. Today is November 12th. And again, I'm reading this morning from this wonderful book called Circular Leadership, Together We Rise, and it was compiled by Linda Roebuck. And I opened it up to page 195, and here's what it offers us. Through the process of our conditioning and programming by our parents and culture, so many of us developed a voice that tells us that we're not good enough, smart enough, or articulate enough. It's a nagging voice saying, "Don't speak. You have nothing to offer. You will be ridiculed and you will stumble. And when you stumble, you may freeze and become an embarrassment." Along the mountain climb, the silenced true voice keeps trying to break through the barrier to that insurmountable mountaintop. You are a shining light. You have love in your heart, a voice to be heard. Speak your true self loud and clear. It's a journey, isn't it? Because none of us is exempt from that conditioning. Those of us of a certain age may remember I believe it was in Saturday Night Live, the Stuart Smalley character. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me, right? And sometimes that's where we have to start, because, that whole children are to be seen, not heard, comes with generations of messages that silence the brilliance of creation individualized as each and every one of us. And then the journey of speaking up becomes like navigating a minefield, because many of us don't have the examples of how to speak up kindly, how to speak up directly. And even when we learn those skills, sometimes there's pushback, because what we can't control is the receiver of the information. And one of the things that I learn over and over again is that people want direct communication until they get it, and then they don't so much like it, and they attach their experience to the speaker. And sometimes I do that. If it hits a wound that I'm unaware of is even a wound, then I'm projecting my hurt onto the speaker, as if they knew where that wound was and lasered in on it and poof, shot the dart right into it. And that is rarely true. It can be true in those relationships where people know you deeply and someone is having a really ugly moment and they say something to intentionally hurt you. It exists there. But short of that, it's just random that what they said connected with our wound. And so then we get to do our inner work. Is the problem what was said, how it was said, or how we heard it, or more than likely a combination of all three? And then what do? Well, then we have conversations. Then we talk to one another. And we own with I statements, this is what I heard, and when I heard this, I felt this, and I'm wondering this. And then we listen to see if what we thought has any validity. And it requires a certain amount of trust in that other person, right? Because that old conditioned voice that keeps our voice silent will often lie to us and tell us not to believe anything that other person says anyway. So then, even if we're engaged in a healthier model of communication, it falls short of being a true communication because we're not legitimately allowing for the other side of the communication to be real and honest because we've already decided it won't be, right? And that's a safe way to validate our own rightness. And one of the things that I think is so challenging for us in this human realm is letting go of the generational historical paradigm of right versus wrong. Because what we are taught generationally, and if you want more information on this, I highly recommend studying Don Miguel Ruiz. But the fundamental premise that when we are incorrect, we are wrong. Not the information is wrong, we are fundamentally wrong, sets up a lifelong battle to be right. Not to communicate accurately, but to be right. And when we can go in which the concepts of right, then we are open to a whole new level of brilliance. It's a nagging voice saying, "Don't speak. You have nothing to offer. You will be ridiculed, and when you stumble, you may freeze and become an embarrassment." All along the mountain climb, the silenced, true voice keeps trying to break through the barrier to that insurmountable mountaintop. You are a shining star. You have love in your heart, a voice to be heard. Speak your true self loud and clear. So let's take that into our time of meditation and contemplation. And so in this moment, I recognized, I know again one source, one substance, one life, one God, one peace, one power, one presence, one infinite, eternal everything that is simultaneously no thing, the unformed, and simultaneously everything, the formed. That it is surrounding all form and infilling all form and is animating itself as all form. Known by many, many names. It is impossible to encompass all that it is in one name. And so I simply recognize it as the infinite, as that substance, as that energy of infinite possibility, whose only desire it is to express, to expand itself through its expression that I call creation. And as I remind myself that there is only one, then I remember that I am made out of it, by it, to be it. And that what is true of me is true of every individualized expression of creation. That being made out of a substance that is whole, perfect, and complete, the essence of each and every expression of creation must be equally whole, perfect, and complete. That the creative process to express must be fully present in every expression of itself in order to experience the newness of infinite possibility. Free to choose, free to recognize that desire to create, that desire to express within. That internal voice that can never be silenced. That even in the loudness of our human conditioning, whispers continuously, express, express. And so I claim and affirm that each and every expression of life gives voice to that internal desire to speak. That infinite wisdom within that knows itself so completely that it knows all. And that it knows exactly how and when and where to speak. That beyond good enough, it is the perfection of being. Beyond having something to share, it is the essence of creation sharing itself as that voice within. I claim and affirm that courage, this human concept of courage, is anchoring itself and blossoming within every expression of creation, empowering that inner voice that may start as a whisper, and as it's used becomes clear, definite, confident beyond right and wrong, confident in the isness of itself, confident in the truth of being, confident in its yes to being all that it came to be, saying all that it came to say, fulfilling its desire to express. And so, knowing that the word spoken is the word complete, I let go. I let go of all of that conditioned thinking that shows up to argue with the word spoken. I claim and affirm that divine yes, the activity of law that has already made it so. And I move forward in the faith of that, the belief in things not seen, knowing that law has already said yes. I claim it, I see it, I act upon it. I act as it. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.